My name is Tahir Naim and we are studying Management Information System. So far we have covered 14 lecture in today's or lecture number 15. The title of our today is System Design. In this lecture we will study the different aspects of how the system is designed. This is the outline of our today lecture. First of all, we will discuss the system design. Then we will discuss the entity relationship diagram, or commonly known as ERD. Then we will discuss design of information flow. Then we will discuss the design of database. Then we will discuss the design of user interface. Then we will discuss the physical design. Then we will discuss program development. Then we will discuss procedure development. Then we will discuss testing. Then we will discuss changeover. Then we will discuss operation and maintenance of the system. First of all, system design. System design can be explained and presented in a narrative form, but the benefits of diagrammatic view cannot be understated. This helps to give a snapshot of what the entire system looks like. Various diagrammatic tools can be used while designing a system. So system design, a system, whenever we design a system, so it is preferred to have a diagrammatic view of all the system plan system. As an example, considering the following DFT, which indicates a simple process of recording transaction and posting into general ledger. User accountants use the chart of accounts to access the relevant accounts in order to prepare different vouchers according to the requirements. The purpose behind this entire activity is to record various transactions. The next step is posting of all these transactions in the system. This process updates the general ledger. So here is we have previously discussed in the previous slides that a user want to withdraw a general ledger. So here look at here, a user, first of all, a user account is created which is present in the supervisor accounting are posted. So on this ID user can log into a system. So whenever he log into a system, the following things will be visible to him: account cashiers, cash payment, how much cash is paid, bank receipt, he can print out a bank receipt, accountant, bank payment, how much payment is made to bank, cash receipt or accounting or general voucher. So these options will be available for user. So here, if he want to cash, if user want to cash payment, here will be he will enter into the system. So in this system, the date on what date transaction will be applied, and the date, account voucher number, debit card, check number are edited by. So all these information will be entered by the user into the system. So here it will be posted, and all these will be also added into general ledger. So the whole system is designed in a systematic way. Entity relationship diagram or ERD diagram. ERD. Another diagrammatic tool used in a system design is ERD. ERD is shown below, indicates simple relationships. These relationships can be read as follows. One department has one supervisor. So here in this basically we show the relationship between different entities in the system. So there may be different kinds of relationship. There is every department, maybe there is a one supervisor which belongs to a specific department, or a department may have more than one employee, or the organization, in organization a specific department has more than one employees, or an employee may be in more than one department. It may be possible that any employee can simultaneously belong to more than one department. An employee may not working on any project, but the project must have at least one employee working on it. So it's not mandatory that anybody will be working for the specific project, but at least one person should be handling the project. So here the below figure shows a hotel booking system. Various records have been kept for each entity. However, each entity shares a relationship with for logical purpose. For instance, field of room ID has been kept in reservation for access to further data. User information has been kept separate. However, link has been made to reservation, session, and logs by making user ID common to all three tables. So in the following diagram on the next slide, there is a hotel booking system in which we have designed, we have kept a user ID. User ID can be a user ID is common to all the tables. Here, look at this table. So there is table. There are different relationship user ID. Look here. This is all the information regarding the user. First of all, he must have been issued user ID for his first name, his last name, his login what is the login name, what is his password for the login, type, what is the type, initial, what is initials of the employee user, and what is the status of the user. Then there is in the room, because you have to keep the record of every rooms. So what is the ID of the room? Because generally whenever you visit the hotel, an ID assigned to each room, while the similar pattern is followed in the during the system design, because you can identify the room. Managers, who's under manager, this room is building, in which building it is, if there are more than one building, and room is it single bed, double bed, or what kind of room it is, description is the detail, and what is the status of this room. So here, if someone want to make reservation into the hotel booking system, so if you want to reserve a book, he will be issued a reservation ID, and he will also be issued in what room ID is assigned to him, and which user has assigned him room, and what date he has assigned the room, and when will the reservation start, when will be in the reservation end, and if there is a note and status. So this is all about reservation. And the session, and what session ID, in what session are it's done, which user ID of which user is doing it, and session setting, who is setting in the session, timestamp, in what time this following transaction is made, and login. Whenever a user log into the system will generate automatically logs the user ID, log ID, timestamp, in what time he is logged into the system, and what type he has log off to the system. So these all the tables are connected to each other by some keys. So here user ID, look here, user ID is also present in this system, user ID also present in this system, user ID is also present in this system. So this user ID is connecting the whole these tables, the four tables, while this room ID is connecting this system with the this room. So all the reservation system whenever the system is designed, the whole relationships are interrelated, are made sure to be interrelated, so that the transaction can be carried out. Design of the information flow. Basically, it is a major steps in the conceptual design. Following aspects should be covered: flow of data, information, and transformation point, that from where data is coming or information is coming, and how it is transformed. The frequency and timing of the flow, how frequent is data coming, and what time the data is coming. the extent of formality in this flow, that how much import forms, import formats, what is the extent of formality. So design of database. So then the next logical step will be designing of the database. It involves determining scope and structure. First of all, when we want to design a database, we have to determine the structure of the database and scope of the database. Scope means whether the database is local or global. Local means that it will reside locally inside the computer, or it will be used on the many from the many location. If interdependence of organization unit is high, the database has to be global in order to prevent sub-optimization of subunit. As it's become global, the cost of maintenance enhances. So if the data is local, then it is mostly used locally. While if there is if let's suppose the hotel has 5 or 10, 20 or many more branches, then it has to be, the data has to be global, so that the system must be optimized or efficiently used. So if there is a global database, then maintenance cost will increase. Structure refers to the way data is stored in a partition and sequence. Basically, structure is the way in which data is stored. Various design methodologies can be used for devising a suitable structure in accordance with the needs of organization and the new system. So a structure must be built so that partition and sequence is mostly optimized. Design of the user interface. So here, after designing the database, then we have to design the user interface. This phase involves determining the ways information system will interact with the user. Some elements are source document to capture raw data. So here basically how raw data is captured and from what document data is captured. Then hard copy output reports. Data, how the end user will get the hard copy of the reports generated by the system. Screen layouts, if he want to see a soft form on the screen of his mobile or laptops or PDAs, it must be user friendly. Inquiry screens, if you want to inquire something, there must be a way to access data through inquiry screens. Interrogation language for the database, that what type of language will be used for designing the system and how the database will be accessed. Graphic and color display, that what types of graphs should be available to the user and what type of color the display will be visible to the user, because the graphics and color must be user friendly so that he not be uninterested. Voice output to guide user answer queries. We may include in user interface the voice output so that the user can hear the response and guide the user through the voice. Or if the user has any queries, the queries must be answered through the voice. Screen layout for manipulation by light pen or mouse. So there must be a way for use of light pen or mouse so that user can use his light pen or mouse. Icons for pictorial representation. Whenever you want to represent data or information in pictorial form, there must be specific icons for this picture so that user can understand what these icons stand for and he can quickly judge the data. The design process begins with certifying system users and then identifying their needs. So whenever a user interface design processes begin, then you have to satisfy the user and what are the needs of the user so that this can be incorporated into the system design. New user dealing with the system infrequently. So here what are the status if new user doesn't deal with the system, So expert dealing regularly, if experts is dealing with the database, regularly, their needs are different is compared to new user. You must present the way user friendly. Physical design is the basically actual design of the system. The logical design is converted into physical design is in this phase. So in this phase the whatever we studied in the previous slides is converted into tangible objects or in the usable format. The physical design involves breaking up the logical decision into units, which in turn can be decomposed further into implementation units such as programs and modules. So if we design a system, it must be broken into smaller components, and smaller components can be modules. We can call it modules or programs. Design of hardware and software or software platform. So first of all, we design the hardware and software. New system requires new software and hardware not currently available in the organization. So we have to look at the what hardware is present inside the organization, what hardware is present, because whenever we implement a new system, a new software or a new system, it has its own requirement of hardware and software. If it is not available in the organization, we must procure it. User workstation might have to be purchased to support in office automation system. Let's suppose if we are implementing an office automation system, then it is mandatory for every user to have a workstation, so that he must enter his data through this workstation into the office automation system. A mini computer might have to be purchased to provide extra processing resources to the new system. So along with my workstation, some mini computer must be purchased so that processing requirement of the organization is met. Program development. The development phase involves converting design specification into executable programs. Once the analysis and design is complete, the software is either developed according to the need or most suitable is purchased. Similar specification of hardware or seen in acquisition is made according to the situation. Primary procedural programming activities include. So in this phase, basically you execute the programs. So first of all, you analyze and design the system, then you develop. Once your designing is complete, then you can develop a software according to your requirement, or you can procure it from the software house or any other organization providing the services. The creation and testing of source code. So you have to create the code and then test the code if it is working fine. The refinement and finalization of test plan. So there the process, the program is refined and it is finalized so that it can be tested on. Writing and reviewing program modules or components. So different components or programs are reviewed and recoded if necessary. Integration of completely components of other components to ensure the components properly interact. The process continue as the components groups is progressively integrated, as interfaces between components group and other system are tested. Procedure development. In this phase, following documents are prepared. Technical manual. This is meant for database management and highlight the system infrastructure, input, output of the system and flow of the system design. So technical manual is basically, as the name suggests, is the basically it shows the database and what input is enter into the system and what output we can expect and what flow of process is on. This include DFTs or data flow diagram, as we have discussed in previous slide. ERD or entity relationship diagram, which we have explained in the previous slides. User cases, test cases. So test cases will be shown that how it will function. So after technical manual, there is a user manual, which is basically for those people who are not very technical. It defines the operation of the system in layman's terms. So basically these it have detail of all the operation of the system in such a way that ordinary user can understand its terms. Getting started with the software, that basically first we started with the software, how you can use your software and how the software system can be used by the ordinary user, operating the software, then how after starting how the system must be operated by the user. Those manuals are generally function related. These function, though a user manual doesn't have any complex analogy, and basically all these two manuals are about the function of the system. Testing. The purpose of this phase is to identify as far as possible in any errors and deficiencies in the system prior to its final release into the production use. So basically testing primary objective is to remove any deficiencies or errors. So these tests we look into user interface. If there is some deficiency in the username, is it user interfaces, it must be added. Then procedure manual, that if there are any deficiency inside the procedure manual. Then job design, that if it is performing its job assigned to it properly or not. Organizational structure design, that is it following the structure of organization perfectly. Changeover. This phase comprises of those activities undertaken to replace the new system in operation from the existing system. Following ways of changeover can be undertaken. Abrupt changeover. In abrupt changeover, is the name suggests that we stop the existing system abruptly and completely shift over to a new one. Phase changeover. In phase changeover, both are run, but output of both system is used since functions performed are different. So basically, phase changeover is performed in the phase manner. Parallel changeover. In parallel changeover, both systems run simultaneously for a period of time, and out of either of the system is used, function performed by both are system. So in the phase changeover, the function performed by both are different, while in this phase parallel changeover, both function similarly, and we can use it for data one or other. Operation maintenance and maintenance. The new system is production system is periodically modified just for better functioning. Following can be various form of error. So basically, operation and maintenance look at how the system operates and if there are any adjustment to be made. Removal of coding logic error. Logic error discovered in the system are corrected. So if there are errors in the logic, it must be discovered and corrected. Modification system rewrite. If there is need of changes in the system, then it must be performed. Prefective maintenance. Change might be made to improve processing efficiency. So maybe some changes must be made to improve the efficiency of the system. These are the references from where I have prepared my lecture. If you have any question regarding today's lecture, feel free to email me. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.